city staff that you are brief and direct, because we have 50, let's see, 50, did it stay 55 or what? We have 58, am I, 58 items. All right, with that being said, let's go right into legislation and public works. Councilwoman Brown.
All right, thank you, Council President. I have item number 1, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Gallagher Bassett for third-party administration services. This item is on the agenda. Corporation Council is in here. So I'm hoping that from this vendor, City Council can begin to receive some of those reports and status updates.
You need a microphone?
Yeah, he said yes. All right, that's on the agenda. Item number 2, I have an ordinance amending ordinance number 2 adopted by City Council on June 26, 2024, entitled an ordinance authorizing the Department of Management Services to issue a request for proposals for a support contract for the Dell VX Rail environment. This item is on the agenda. Item number 3, I have management services. Permission for a budget line transfer between budget code A1680.486 to A1680.407. So that's from the technology upgrades line to the printing and leasing, to that line. So that is on the agenda. Item number 4, I have management services and ordinance retroactively approving the attendance of Director Allen at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention, July 31st to August 4th, 2024. So we do have Director Allen here. First, we don't have a conference agenda, but second, Director Allen, could you explain to us why this is retroactive?
Hi, yes, hello. It is retroactive because of the timing of my awareness one of the conference, and then having to submit it directly to you all. I totally forgot. I'm not used to doing legislation and things of that nature. And so it did slip my mind for transparency that there was only one meeting for this particular month. So that is why it slipped my mind, and that's why we are going retro. I will ask if it could go retro. That was the only reason why.
Thank you, Director Allen.
Thank you.
Co-chair, would you like to put this on the agenda?
Co-chair here. I know Councilwoman Brown, she's drew a hard line in saying that we're not going to approve anything retroactively, and I understand her concern. You are not a repeat offender. I'm going to go ahead and put this on agenda. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Box Hill. So item number 4 is on the agenda. Item number.
Ask a question, please?
Sure. You're Council
Okay.
President.
I'm sorry. Director Allen, if you don't mind, go to the podium. So we spoke about this last week, and one of the things I had asked was to get what the agenda was. Were you able to get that? And can you get that to the
Yes,
clerk?
it has been submitted to by my commissioner, Commissioner Juan Perez. So it has been submitted on into Granicus for.
Okay, I didn't see it there, so.
It was sent today. Earlier.
Oh, it was sent today?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
So just direct, I don't need you to speak, but in the future, if there is an event where it's in between meetings, reach out to your committee chair or have your commissioner reach out to the committee chair to discuss it. And there may be an opportunity for a special or at least for a conversation to be had so that we all know and we're all on board with it.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Will do.
Cool.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Item number 5, I have an ordinance authorizing the city of Mount Vernon to enter into an MOU with Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative for the onboarding of a fellow. That item is, I had some questions about this. First, Councilman Boxell, I'll ask you if you want to put it on. Some of my concerns is obviously, this memorandum of understanding was signed before approved by city council. Some of my additional concerns is inside this contract, it says that this person would be receiving training, that the city was obligated to give them different types of training. That I'm not aware that the city currently has, and that there will be an orientation that I'm also not aware that the city has. But if there is such a thing, or one is going to be created for this fellow, I do ask that those things are duplicated for our employees who are onboarded on a daily basis. And I did speak to the mayor about this, and she said that this fellow will be starting at the end of August, that they have not started already. Then also in this contract, it says that there's going to be an additional agreement regarding intellectual property. And wanted to discuss with Corporation Counsel about whether or not that has actually been drafted.
Can
Okay,
you speak into the microphone, please?
is that on?
I have no awareness of this contract at all, so we have to take a look into.
So Councilman. Sorry, yeah, well, yeah, I'm asking Councilman Box if he would like to put this on the agenda.
I want to leave this as agenda pending until we just, maybe get a response from Corporation Council.
Okay. So it is AP.
Is that okay with you? Cor?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 6 is, an ordinance authorizing the sponsorship of the 3rd annual Hispanic Heritage Month celebration to be sponsored by the Mayor's Office, Recreation Department, and the Westchester Latinos Unidos. Clerk Walters, I see that there's a PD response, a DPW response, but I do not see a fire response. Do we know? No, still waiting. So this item will be AP. Is it possible that you can reach out to fire so that we can get it before Wednesday? Yeah. Thank you. Council President can decide.
Is she speaking on item number 6? Yes. Okay.
I was trying to raise my hand. I
Okay,
couldn't.
we'll
find
come
my
back to
raise-
that. We'll
Sure.
come back to that once LPW is finished.
All right. I have item number 6 is an ordinance authorizing the sponsorship of the. I did. Oh, just kidding.
On FD.
Thank you. Item number 7 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept funding from the Urban Renewal Agency for the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. Spoke to the mayor about this one as well, the 400,000 that is coming from URA is for a period of time, I believe it was 3 years. And it's supposed to include salary, benefits, et cetera. Around that, right? So the letter said also operations. So I just want to get some further clarity on that, but I'm okay with putting on the agenda for now. For that item. Item number 8, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the office of the mayor for the purchase of office furniture. That is on the agenda. Item number 9 is an ordinance authorizing a budget line transfer to cover the purchase of lactation pods for the Mount Vernon City Hall. That is on the agenda. I have item number 10, which is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a payment contract agreement with A+ Technology and Security Solutions, Inc. for the installation of Avigilon cameras at DPW's main building, Canal Street and Marina. That is on the agenda.
I have a question.
Shoot.
One of the questions I have is regarding this technology. the Vigilon, and I think, if I could bring up our police commissioner. Has, DPW, met with you regarding this with Director Perez, these cameras and access to these cameras?
Yeah,
They have? And-
yes, the three of us met.
Okay, and I just want to make sure that the new cameras the systems that we're bringing into the, PD will be able to have access to them, right? Okay, and that they collaborate together? No
Yep.
problem, all right, I just want to make sure, thank you.
No problem.
So also, I think it's important to note for the referral letters that we need to make sure that we're putting information in the referral letter to reflect like the use, why we should be getting them. So I understand, but it's not clear to me that the public can read that referral letter and understand what these cameras are actually being used for. So that was on the agenda. Item number 11, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into I did that one. Nope, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a payment contract agreement with A+ Technology and Security Solutions, Inc. for the installation of interior and exterior Avigilon cameras at Memorial Field. That is on the agenda. Item number 12, I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a payment contract with the A+ Technology and Security Solutions, Inc. for the installation of Avigilon cameras at City Hall. That is also on the agenda. Just as a note, asked the mayor, why were these separate? She said to identify, departmental use, where exactly the cameras are going, et cetera. So that everyone knows. Item number 13, I have an ordinance to establish a 2024 list of qualified minority and woman-owned business enterprises, general contractors. This is on the agenda. I just want to make it clear, though, that just because we have this list, that doesn't mean that the procurement process is different, right? Each project still needs to be competitive between these vendors, and we can't bypass that procurement process. Item number 14, I have 13? Yeah, by all means, go ahead.
Councilwoman Brown, question that I have with the RFQ. We have the vendors now, it's about 13 vendors. Can it be reopened if other vendors decide to show up in September, October, November? Or is the list closed with just these vendors?
So it would be up to the commissioner. There's no fast rule on whether or not he wants to open it up or not. It just, for each project, like, for example, if he needed to pave a street, he would need to go to whoever he decided to go to get the appropriate amount of quotes or bid, depending on the project size, right? So he's not limited to this list at all. If he wanted to open it back up, he could do that. So that was on the agenda. Item number 14. An ordinance to approve engagement with Safety Clean Systems, Inc. for the cleaning the oil water separator at the Department of Public Works facility. This is for the DEC consent order compliance. So the issue with this one was that it is over the amount. I spoke with the mayor, and according to Commissioner Bush, what happened is when this vendor went in to clean the sludge from our oil tank, there was a lot more sludge, so apparently there was a change order, and they were directed to go ahead and continue with the work because of the DEC consent order. I'm not sure that that's how it should have went, but I'm comfortable putting it on the agenda for a vote. Item number 5 is the use. 15, yeah. An ordinance retroactively authorizing the use of Purdy's Park for community outreach event organized by Con Edison Community Outreach Team, Saturday, August 3rd, 2024. That is on the agenda. It's also retroactive, that's FYI. Item number 16, but I'm not sure from the time they presented at the last meeting to this meeting that they had the time to put that in. Item number 16 is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2 adopted by the city council on October 25th entitled an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of smart cover technology for MS4 management and data collection. So there were the way this letter is written, it seems as if it's asking for permission to go out and purchase these smart covers. I did have a conversation with Commissioner Bush and the mayor about this. This is an amendment to the old legislation. However, the letter isn't written that way. And what they did was similar to how we amend legislation where we put brackets, et cetera. There was a version of this that Commissioner Bush submitted with the brackets. The version that's in here is not with the brackets, but I actually had a conversation with the assistant comptroller around this. And there's not supposed to be brackets. There's supposed to be, we're adding a budget code. So apparently there's a stormwater line and there's also a sewage line, and that we needed both lines to cover this purchase, right? But I to note is that these letters need to be written to reflect that they're actually an amendment. It wasn't clear from this letter that was submitted that this was an amendment. It does say amendment, but it wasn't clear what was going to change in the legislation. So it should be written to say, on this ordinance was adopted at this time, we would like to change this portion of the former legislation. So that's on the agenda after all of that.
So I have just a quick question. Those two budget lines will be on there, the sewer and the,
Yes, the sewer and the stormwater sewage, they both should be on there.
okay, so are we gonna do this as an agenda pending until that's,
No, they're on there.
okay.
They're on there on this version. Okay,
Are they identified?
they are identified. Yep.
Thank you.
Problem. Item number 17. I have the 7th day Adventist Health Fair. This is gonna be agenda pending only because I don't see a fire and DPW response. Clerk Walters, would you be able to? Thank you. Then number 18, I love this teamwork. Thank you. Number 18 is an ordinance retroactively authorizing the co-sponsorship of the Twilight series. This is on the agenda. It is retroactive. I'm not sure why, but we can go ahead and put that on. Item number 19, I have an ordinance authorizing the Mount Vernon Recreation Department to co-sponsor the MVP Fitness Court Challenge with MVP Healthcare. That is number 19. I don't see fire response or police response on this. Clerk Walters, thank you. And also, so I spoke with the mayor about this one as well. I see a request for EMS. To me, a request for EMS means that they should be stationed out there, but the mayor said that there will be a bus out there, and if they get a call that they would go. I'm not sure why it needs to be included in the legislation, but just giving everyone a heads up. So I'll put that on the agenda as well. Item number 20.
Wait, I'm sorry. Item number 19, did you say that you were reading? Okay.
No, yeah, agenda pending, because we were waiting on responses.
Okay.
Item number 20, I have an ordinance authorizing the Mount Vernon Recreation Department to co-sponsor the Big Block Party with Butterfly LLC. August 31st, 2024 from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. I see all of the responses in here. We also have a request for EMS in here. But that's on the agenda. Then we have item number 21, an ordinance authorizing the renewal of the accounting consultancy with Ms. Cynthia Owens for the Board of Water Supply. And note this one. This is on the agenda. Yeah, I'll move on. So I did have some initial concerns, but I don't have it in my notebook, so we'll just put it on the agenda. If I find it by the end of the meeting, I'll bring it back up. Item number 22, I have an ordinance authorizing a water rate increase effective January 1st, 2025. That is on the agenda. I have item number 23, an ordinance regulating business cameras in the city of Mount Vernon. That is on the agenda. And this one doesn't have a referral letter, so just to give a little bit of information. This was legislation that Councilwoman Gleason and I collaborated on. And it's to require particular businesses to have video cameras throughout the city. This is both a public safety effort, but also a quality of life effort. And the businesses will be required to work with our police department and other departments to ensure that the city has access to those. So it will help in crime solving, it will help in bad actor enforcement. So just wanted to give that one some.
Can I ask a question about, I had a few questions about. Yeah, I had a few questions about that legislation. As a matter of fact, I think I had brought this up with our council. I don't think he got back to me yet, but I think this is a super great idea. My only concern was, do we have the power to do this, you know? And I guess I was asking around, I've asked a lot of different legal folks about this, as far as, of course, we would love our businesses to comply in any type of police investigation, but do we have the power to compel a private business to turn over their cameras if they say no? And I don't know. And part of the question was, for instance, you have some type of businesses, maybe they want to keep their clientele private for whatever reason, you know, there could be all kinds of reasons, but I get it that the way of public safety versus, you know, your First Amendment rights and such, but I understood that other municipalities in this Westchester is doing the same thing, and maybe even New York City and some other places. I haven't heard of it being challenged anywhere, but I haven't gotten an answer saying that we still have the power to do it either, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think what we have the tendency to do sometimes is conflate civil versus criminal, right? And the legislation is civil based. So this isn't a, you know, this isn't a search and seizure type of thing. This is a violation if they choose not to comply. And violations are similar to what the enforcement powers that buildings department has, right? You can issue a violation, but you have the ability to set regulations in the city when it comes to civil things. And it's been in White Plains, it's been in Yonkers for 10 years, right? So this is some of the research that we conducted when we went about drafting it.
Got it. And the only other question was, are they required to do it 24/7? If business is not in operation, is it still required to have this up and running cameras?
If the business is in operation, then they would be required to
And I'm
have.
saying if they're closed on,
If they're not operating?
yeah, they're closed for the weekend or they're closed for Sunday,
Oh, the cameras are supposed to still run.
they're supposed to still run.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm not the president. Go ahead.
Actually, I saw that the Corporation Council would like to speak, and then we'll have Councilman Thompson.
Yes, so I did reach out to White Plains. They've had it for over 10 years. They didn't really have any challenges. Most of the bodegas and stores were happy to give and cooperate. And they really didn't ever have problems with people complying. And if they did, they would just threaten them with a ticket, and then most people will just give it over because it's not worth really fighting about, so.
Very good, so.
Yeah.
Very good, so.
And
Councilman Thompson?
thank you. And there's several different types of camera options that you have, right? Most people have cameras that don't have audio. And I always encourage businesses and homeowners to get some form of like Ring camera, because Ring camera gives you video and audio, and also you can go back to the dates that are needed. So perhaps if an incident happened at 1 Roosevelt Square and you want to get that information because it happened on July 22nd, you can actually As opposed to the business having to turn over their entire camera catalog, the police can say, hey, we need to see these dates. And you can actually go into your Ring camera, select that date and transfer all those files right to the police station. So it's not a difficult thing. It's just a, information thing and everybody needs to know what the information is.
I would just like to say that we're gonna also add this in our newsletter this month. So if you guys have, if the community has not signed up for our newsletter, please go on cmvny.com and click on the city council page. And please register via email so that you can get our newsletter. But this will definitely be one of the pieces of legislation that is sent out to the community at the end of August. Councilwoman Brown, are you good?
Yeah, and also to mention, so for the businesses that this applies to, like there's no need to rush out tomorrow and buy the cameras, right? There is or whenever we pass it, there is a time frame within you have to comply. I believe it's January. I can't remember at the top of my head right now. Yeah, 2025. So you have some time to go ahead and purchase the necessary material. Need to make sure that you're complying with all of the building department permits that are necessary. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you, Council President.
All right, moving on. And that's agenda, right?
Yeah, it's agenda. Thank you. Item number 24, I have Office of the City Clerk, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon acknowledging the City Council's appointment to the Mount Vernon City Charter Commission. Why are we doing this, Clerk Walters?
Yeah, I was confused.
Mhm. Yeah, but we don't have to do legislation for it. We didn't do legislation for the others. We appointed the other board members? Oh, maybe perhaps I wasn't here.
Could you speak into the microphone?
Sure.
Sorry.
Thank you. The only thing that's missing now is for us to acknowledge the folks that resigned, because the history has to show who resigned and who replaced.
So should we be doing that before we actually put someone else on? Should we?
No, we can do this.
Okay,
Yeah,
so they've resigned. We have their resignation letters?
email
So we
stating
have
that
those
it resigned.
emails?
Yep. we
Okay.
do.
All right, so that's on the agenda. I have a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon acknowledging the mayoral appointment to the Mount Vernon Charter Revision Commission, Rosaria Blackwell Lawrence. Oh, was I supposed to not say the name?
That's
Oh,
fine.
okay. Agenda.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Brown. We are going to go back to item number 5. Office of the Mayor, an ordinance authorizing the city of Mount Vernon to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative for the onboarding of a fellow, 2 years. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And one of the items was intellectual property. And Councilwoman Brown,
So, I think Councilman Boxell said.
microphone.
Oh, sorry. Lunch. Councilman, well, I guess Corporation Council, so if you can take some time and look at the MOU and identify one of the clauses in there, it's titled intellectual property. And it says that we should have a separate agreement in place. So if you can advise us and Councilman Boxell on that, that'd be great, so that we can switch it over to agenda.
And just to be clear, the question on intellectual property, we would like to have the ownership
Absolutely.
of all the work. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Go ahead, Corp Counsel.
Okay.
No, she said to leave it as agenda pending. Corporation Counsel, nothing more for that, right? Okay, let's keep it moving. And we are at Human Resources. Councilman Thompson, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I have item number 26 from the Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding, which is MOU, with Feed and Westchester. That's on the agenda. Item number 27 from the Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Smart Steps for the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau Safe Place. That's on the agenda. Item number 28 from the Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to retroactively enter into an agreement with Break Bread Not Hearts for the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau Safe Place for Our Girls and Safe Haven Summer Programs. That's on the agenda. Item number 29 from the Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to retroactively enter into an agreement with Inferno 365 Fitness for the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau Safe Place for Our Girls and Girls Embracing Maturing Programs from July 9th, 2024 to August 16th, 2024. That's on the agenda, and that's all I have there.
Thank you. Council, do we have any questions regarding? Councilwoman Brown?
Thank you. So just wanted to, I spoke to Commissioner Executive Director Burrell Butler. And so there was some confusion around, so I asked, why are these retroactive? And she was instructed to put them in because she was kind of close to the first date, right? So what I told her was to reach out to her committee chair to get an add-on so that she can have an add-on as opposed to them being retroactive in the future. And I think that should go across the committees, right? Reach out to the committee chairs to get the add-on if you're gonna be retroactive. Yeah, so that's it.
You have a question regarding human resources?
Sort of. It doesn't relate specifically to anything that's on the tally sheet. It's a question I have for Director Allen. Should I ask it now or at the end of the meeting?
Go ahead.
Director Allen, we were doing last year videos with council members talking about what's happening in the community. And we stopped that. And I'm looking at the calendar, really for the month of August and September. There's a lot that we have that we're doing. If council president's up for it, maybe we can get her on video just talking about what the calendar is for August and September, and then blast that out to the communities.
Okey-doke. Any other questions regarding human resources? Okay, moving on, public safety and codes, Councilman Potteet.
Thank you, Council President. Item number 30 is for information purposes only from Consumer Protection, the July 2024 monthly report. Item number 31 is on the agenda from the Fire Department, and ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds from the purchase of for the purchase of a Fire Department command vehicle. Item number 32 is on the agenda from the Fire Department, and ordinance amending ordinance number 17, approved by the City Council on September 14th, 2022, entitled an ordinance authorizing the Fire Department to purchase 2 command vehicles and payment of the equipment with ARPA funds. Item number 33 is on the agenda from the Fire Department, and ordinance authorizing the use of city parking lot number 1 for the fundraising car wash by local 107U FFA. Just to clarify this, they have the city clerk talked to the police department about this item. And I got clearance, and obviously they have clearance from the Fire Department on this item. Item number 34 from IDA.
Pardon me, can we just go back a second? Item number 32, not item number 32, item number 33.
Sure.
Will they be submitting an insurance certificate?
That was submitted with the application.
Okay,
will check.
I don't want to hold it up, but I want to make sure that we get that.
Yeah,
To
that,
make
that
su-
was submitted with the application. I'll just pull it.
Oh, yeah, just
from the-
confirm that.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, you're welcome.
Sorry,
No,
Proceed.
that's a good question. I mean, we should probably make this agenda pending then, waiting for the certificate from them. So let's change 32 from agenda to, I'm sorry, 33 from agenda to
Mhm.
agenda pending. Item number 34 from IDA, and ordinance establishing temporary designated on-street designated parking at 30 Warren Place to accommodate holiday shopping from November 5th to December 31st. That will be on the agenda. Item number 35 from Public Safety. And
Pardon me, one sec.
sure,
Do we have any questions regarding that?
Yes, so we had spoken about this last year, right? The reserving this space for American Christmas. So typically, if a resident was to request spaces, we would charge them for the parking spaces. And we're not charging American Christmas. Do we know why?
If I remember correctly, American Christmas gave the city $2,000. And we could double check that. I think it was $2,000.
When they gave it to us
I'm pretty sure it was at Christmas time.
last year?
Yeah, but you'd have to double check that because I remember accepting that, but I just remember the number being $2,000.
Okay, so we can do AP and all
Yeah.
that tomorrow? What they do.
so we'll switch 34 from agenda to agenda pending. But I'm pretty sure Councilman Gleason's right, that they did give something as a gift last year. Item number 35.
I think that was.
Yes.
From Public Safety, and ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a one-year agreement with
No.
Central Square for software licensing and maintenance. That will be on the agenda.
Do we want to have our police commissioner come up and speak a little bit about that?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, this is police commissioner. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a one-year agreement with Central Square for software licensing and maintenance. Can you just speak a little bit on that, please?
So we are transferring. We're transferring from two different companies. So this gives us the extension from Central Square. So we can continue operations. So
Mhm.
we're using both systems, but now we just have to.
Until
sure.
the new one, which company is the new one again? Tyler, until Tyler's up and running, Central Square will remain in place,
Yes.
but it's not necessarily, we're not gonna necessarily need the whole 12 months, right? Cause I'd hate to be paying for both at the same time.
Right, it's a safeguard, so.
Until February.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilwoman Brown.
So yes, Central Square is the current system, right? It's antiquated. They have a hard time getting support and they can't get support unless we continue this contract. They were given two options essentially, 6 months or a year. 6 months won't get us to the launch date of the new software, so we had to go, they want to go with a year so that we can get through the launch date, right? Because we've had money issues over the last few years, months, forever. And we've delayed because we had issues with the procurement process. There's no like there's no win-win, right? So we either have to go over or fall short. And then if we fall short, we may have a police department that doesn't have a system to operate and check calls, et cetera.
We don't want to lose any data.
Yep, that's fine. All right, thank you so much. Carry on.
Thank you, Council President. Item number 36 from Public Safety, Department of Public Safety and Parking Bureau requests to transfer funds from the Parking Bureau budget line to the Police Department. That will be on the agenda. Item number 37 from Public Safety, and ordinance retroactively authorizing a one-year leave of absence for computer console operator Deanna Algieri will be on the agenda. Item number 38 from Public Safety, and ordinance authorizing the use of funds from the State of New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Law Enforcement Technology grant for the purchase of license plate reader cameras, related technology. That will be on the agenda. And Commissioner, I'll ask you to come up once I'm done, because there's 10 other items that I have, just to answer some minor questions I have. Item number 39 from Public Safety, and ordinance authorizing the use of funds from the State of New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Law Enforcement Technology Grant for the construction of a command central aware room will be on the agenda. Item number 40 from Public Safety. An ordinance authorizing the purchase of essential equipment for the Emergency Service Unit of the Department of Public Safety will be on the agenda. Item number 41 from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the attendance of Department of Public Safety members at the 2024 International Association Chiefs of Police Conference from October 18th to October 22nd, 2024 will be on the agenda. Item number 42 from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing attendance of Department of Public Safety members at the 2024 Division of Criminal Justice Services, DCJS, Annual Public Safety Symposium from September 17th to September 20th will be on the agenda. Item number 43 from Public Safety, an ordinance amending ordinance number 13 adopted by the City Council on July 10th, 2024, entitled an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds between budget lines funded through the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, will be on the agenda. Item number 44, also from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the permanent closure of Roosevelt Square North to non-emergency vehicles and the erection of a regulatory traffic signs will be on the agenda. Finally, I know that that's
Excuse
been a
me.
long time coming.
Yeah, and I just want to say this is really important because a lot of police stations in Westchester County and outside of Westchester County do not have as much access and direct access to the entrance of the police station, but also the traffic that goes through there at the time of the change of shift is very dangerous, not only for the police officers, but also for the pedestrians. And I just wanted to commend Commissioner Gibson for really taking this on, and it's been a long process, but we had to go through the traffic studies and everything, but I think this was a great initiative of yours, keeping the rank and file safe and also the residents of Mount Vernon. So thank you.
Thank you. Item number 45 from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Motorola Solutions for the purchase of a citywide camera surveillance system will be on the agenda. Item number 46 from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Electronic System Solutions, ESS, for the installation and maintenance of a citywide camera surveillance system will be on the agenda. Item number 47 from City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon honoring and recognizing the retirement of firefighter and former Union President Kevin Holt will be on the agenda. Sad to see him leaving. Item number 48 from City Council, a resolution recognizing of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon honoring and recognizing the retirement of firefighter Nathaniel Tilford will be on the agenda. Item number 49 from the Office of the City Clerk, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of Chapter 237-35 A and B of the City Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Taxi Cab Fares to increase current fares. That will be on the agenda, and I'm sure our taxis will be happy about that, taxi cab drivers. Item number 50 from City Council.
Pardon me, hold on. Let's just go back. I would like Councilwoman Brown, was it item number 49?
Yes.
Okay,
Do
item
we-
number 49.
Do we have comparative data for other municipalities with can you share that with us, please?
Oh, okay, I'll share it tomorrow.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Should I make this agenda pending?
Yes, make it agenda pending.
Got it.
Thank you.
So item number 49 is changed from agenda to agenda pending. Item number 50 from City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon honoring and recognizing the services of Wakanda Celebration, Inc. will be on the agenda. And the last item number 51 from City Council, a resolution designating the City Council as lead agency for proposed amendments regarding short-term rentals and fixing a date for a public hearing. That will be on the agenda. And that's all that I have for my committee.
Okay, can we also go back to item number 49? I have, I do not see. I mean, I see everything, Clerk Welters, that you put in here in regards to the taxi cab fares. I don't see a recommendation from our taxi cab commission. Has there been any opinion given by them?
Yes, we voted on it and passed the vote, so we'll provide a letter as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay,
We'll attach
thank you
that.
so much.
Also, Commissioner Gibson, could you come up for a second? Just some minor questions that I have. I just want to double check that the items that we're buying, which would be items 38, 39, 40, we're following the city's procurement policy with those items.
Yes.
Okay, and then there was a request for 2 conferences. And just want to humbly ask that we get reports from those conferences once your staff goes out to them.
Okay,
That's it. Thank you, Commissioner.
thank you.
Councilwoman Brown?
So wanted to talk about item number 51 because it also doesn't have a referral letter. That is the short-term rental legislation. That is also something that Councilwoman Gleason and I collaborated on. And this is to have mechanisms and have mechanisms in place for Airbnbs, VRBOs, those type of things, right? So we have rules and regulations. You do need to apply to be on the registry to receive the permit. So this will alleviate some of the concerns that some residents have expressed, but also give homeowners the opportunity to make some additional revenue by utilizing their home. So I encourage people to read this, get acquainted with it, and make sure that you're complying with the new regulation that will hopefully be voted in on Wednesday.
Any other questions? All right, moving on, finance and planning, Councilman Boxell.
Thank you. All right, number 52, this is from the controller. An ordinance authorizing the controller to write off unpaid property taxes and interest for certain properties with new homeowners. That's on the agenda. Questions? All right. 53. From the controller as well, an ordinance authorizing the exploration and execution of alternative measures for the recovery of delinquent property taxes. And that's on the agenda. Sure.
Okay, Councilwoman Brown's got a question.
I have more of a comment. So this concerns me, right? And I know it's just an RFP. But at the NICOM conference, the last one that I attended, actually, there was a lot of conversation on how municipalities are moving away from this, because while it might give you instantaneous cash flow, that there are a lot of so there's a lot of displacement that happens. There's also a lot of vacant properties that come from it, because once the people who buy the tax liens, so once they clear the homeowners out, they then become absent landlords. They don't take care of the property. So a lot of municipalities are actually moving away from it. Now, I understand, right? We are in a financial bind. We need to get some revenue in. We owe the school district a lot of money. You know, for me, a hope would be that we figure out a way to bifurcate this, right? I know Councilman Potteet has advocated for that in the beginning, potentially starting with our commercial properties and seeing where that cash flow gets us. But I have a huge fear that the demographics of our city will completely change after we do something like this, right? And I just want to say, I'm putting on the record that I'm not in full support of this until we know that we have exhausted all other options like community land, community trust, community land banks and community trust. So while the MREM process may not give us surplus, right? We can't get a gain from it. We can cover our costs. With community land trust and with land banks, we have the ability to revitalize and also keep home ownership affordable, right? So those are some things that I would love to explore. I'm completely open to selling the tax liens of commercial properties because those don't actually hurt the residents as much, in my humble opinion. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
I was about to speak. No, but I'll let you go first. Go ahead. I'll go last.
You know, I was just gonna say, we're setting up a dangerous precedent here in Mount Vernon. Which is we're setting up a precedent where you can be a homeowner and not pay taxes, and there's no consequences. The other dangerous precedent is it's unfair to homeowners that do pay taxes. That they're paying taxes, you have a large number of homeowners and commercial property owners who aren't. So yes, there's the fear of gentrification and it's real, but there's also the current fear that you have homeowners saying the city's gonna do nothing if I don't pay my taxes. And lastly, you're increasing the burden on those homeowners that do pay taxes. Because we have a cash shortfall, our tax number goes up every year because we're playing catch up, because you have a significant number of homeowners who aren't paying taxes. So we have a very careful line that we have to walk, but we got to keep in mind there's homeowners who are diligently following up, doing what they have to do. And it's unfair that we don't have a policy that does penalize homeowners who aren't paying taxes. So I wanted to say, thank you, Council President.
Councilwoman Brown?
So the way you positioned that was that it was either sell tax liens or there's no enforcement. And I just want to clarify to the public that there are in-betweens, right? You can sell tax liens, you can do the NREM process, you can give property to community land trust, you can give property to land banks so that they can revitalize, right? So I just want to make sure the public knows that it's not sell tax liens or everybody else picks up the slack, right? Those aren't the only two options. And I'm not saying that you were saying that, but it sounded as if those were the only two options.
No, so just to clarify, there's a lot of options here, right? But it's 5 folk here at City Council. We got to figure out what those options are pretty fast. So there's nothing stopping us by the next meeting, us doing our diligence and saying, okay, here's the options that are in front of us. Let's pick a few. Indecision, to me, isn't fair to homeowners that are paying taxes. So yeah, we should explore every option, but we should look at those options quickly. Thank you.
Councilwoman Brown?
Council President. So we have been looking at them, right? And to the controller's point in his letter, the recent Tyler case that came down from the Supreme Court has confused folks, right? There's no, because it's recently passed, it's not legislation, it's precedent. Until someone gets sued or another case is brought up, we really may not have clarity. So as council members, we may have to decide how much risk we want to take on in the city to better help our residents, right? Another suggestion is.
Can you speak on the Tyler case?
So the Tyler case was a Supreme Court case that essentially said, historically, what Mount Vernon has done is they would do the NREM process, and then we would sell the properties. And whatever the balance was between what the property tax that was owed and what the sale price was, the city get to keep, right? So it was an incentive to kind of go through that process.
So we could potentially have a tax lien of like $36,000 and sell a house for 400, and we would keep the profit.
Thank you, Council President. All right, so, what the Tyler case said was, if you sell, if let's say it's $350,000 worth of taxes, you sell it for 400, right? That you can't keep the $50,000. You can recover your cost, so if your cost costs $25,000, you would have to give the remaining 25 or whatever the balance is, I'm not a mathematician.
you did it.
Balance to the home.
You're good, you're right.
So what that means is, I mean, there's a whole bunch of legal questions, right? So if we do the MREM process, but we don't sell it, right? If we give it to a community land bank, what does that mean? Right? There's all these questions that we just don't know the answer to because it's a new case. So we would have to determine how much risk we would want to take on as a city, to keep Mount Vernon residents in Mount Vernon houses, to keep affordability where it should be, in my opinion. So those are the things that we would have to figure out, and maybe we'd have to sit down with legal counsel to determine what makes sense for us.
Go ahead, Councilman Box Hill.
No, thank you for that clarification. I don't think the Tyler case changes the equation for our purposes. I mean, we're just trying to get every parcel owner, commercial or residential, to pay their share, and we just want to cover our costs. You know, that's how we keep taxes low. We're not necessarily trying to make a profit. So I'm okay with selling a property and, you know, the excess be returned. You know, that's always okay in my book. But yeah, I think both you guys make a exceptional points on this, and I think that we have to do something. I don't necessarily know what the answer is, but we like Ed said, it's difficult for someone who is carrying the burden for folks who are not and have not for decades, for who knows what reasons, could be no fault of their own. Maybe, you know, their circumstances are difficult or not, but right, what do we say to the folks that are paying, right? So I think we should put this on the agenda for a vote and keep the discussion going. So.
Councilman Thompson? Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see you, Corporation Counsel. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. The other consideration that has not been discussed is the immediate need for cash flow monies, because absent, you know, the discussion and you evaluate who's going to be harmed, many of our creditors are not willing to wait anymore for their monies. So that's the sense of urgency to, you know, determine what we're going to do, how we're going to move forward.
Councilman Thompson, did you have anything to say? It's okay if you don't.
No. I'm perfectly fine. I just, you know, want us to make sure that we do what's best for our homeowners at the end of the day. Because it's already a burden, it's a struggle for them. So how we can best help our homeowners is the ultimate goal.
Okay, with that being said, I have a comment to make on this. I think all council people have made very strong comments in regards to this. I think I don't want to see anybody be put out of their home, right? And I think that that's the best part of Mount Vernon, right? And the best part of Mount Vernon is we're generational here, right? So I don't want to see Mr. Brown, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Gleason falling down on their taxes and then, you know, having to be in a situation where they don't have family members that are able to get them out of it, right? So I think from the very beginning of the discussion that we've had several times is something that Councilman Potteet had said from the beginning. Let's look at the commercial liens first and then see where we could potentially go with the residential ones. And every tax lien has got a story associated with it, right? So I think the best part of this community is the heart that we have regarding everybody. So our approach has got to be done very gingerly and very sensitively. And I don't want to see anybody put out of their homes, plain and simple. So with that being said, we can move on. You guys, your answer is to put it on the agenda? Okay. Moving on.
I'm sorry, there's one more comment.
All right, ahead.
I concur with Councilwoman Brown. We've had this conversation a lot. I think we're on the same page with the non-1 to 4 family homes. Obviously gentrification is a real issue on the 1 to 4 family homes. Commissioner Rouse, since you're here, Councilman Brown and myself have done work just trying to, and I stress the word trying to figure out how to make a land trust work. Are there any resources in planning that we could lean on to kind of expedite the research and diligence that we would have to do as a council to understand better how a land trust would work, how to fund it, and then how to move properties into some mechanism?
Commissioner Rouse or Ms. Lawrence? Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you, council members. In terms of resource, you just in terms of just gathering information and access, or are you talking about actual funding?
No, just staff time, analyst time, someone's time that can help us do the research to figure out how to execute on something like a community land trust or a variant of a community land trust.
Yeah, we've discussed, aside from discussing with the comptroller through the putting assets to work initiative, our grants administrators, Steve Lawrence, grants compliance officer, Lauren Pluth, and I have had that discussion relation to that. Because they've been, also helping out with the comprehensive plan, and we've been trying to come up with the strategy of how the timing works with managing our assets and executing the comp plan. Community land trusts are a great thing if done correctly, if the community is truly empowered, especially if there's a not-for-profit conduit that we can work through to do that. New York City, for example, has tried to do a very top-down approach, and it really hasn't worked. And so I'm happy to have a conversation and make linkages to groups that have done that in the past, just to help us figure out a strategy. You said, the putting the assets to work initiative is great, but former Congress member Ben McAdams has been leading that charge. But getting someone really local and having really some local case studies and examples, I think could really, really benefit us. So I could speak to some colleagues, make some introductions, and hopefully we can move forward.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, Councilman Box.
Number was up, so 50. Yep, 54, Office of the Controller, an ordinance authorizing a partnership with Working Advantage Plum Benefits for employee discounts, and that's on the agenda. 55, Department of Planning, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Clary Consulting for professional planning services for the Mount Vernon Comprehensive Plan, and that is on the agenda. 56, Department of Planning, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with ARKF Inc. for progress for.
Just so we know, that is not the right initials, it's AKRF. No, I know. It's typed wrong.
Yeah. But I should know better. For progress for plan analysis services for the Mount Vernon Comprehensive Plan. And that's on the agenda.
Excuse me. Can we just have Commissioner Rouse come and speak about this particular contract, please?
RF one
Yes.
specifically, yes. So back history for public, we're in the process of engaging 5 consultants to help us complete the comprehensive plan. We've already executed contracts with 2 of them, led by BRS Incorporated, a subcontractor, Creative Urban Alchemy. Now we're trying to finalize our lead consultant, environmental zoning consultant, and housing economic development consultant. The consultant that Council President Brown's asked me to speak on is AKRF. They are the environmental and zoning consultant. The contract that they have presented before you, their legal counsel has not fully vetted every single item, but they informed us that in terms of scope, price, timeline, those are all set, those are all guaranteed. It's just some small technical items from the planning side and execution that their legal team just wants to make sure matches with what their, their MO is. And unfortunately, that legal counsel was out sick today, so he wasn't able to do his final review. So, but that's pending. But they assured me everything else is ready to go. The numbers won't change, the scope won't change, the timeline won't change.
Thank you so much, Commish. Do any of the council members have any questions pertaining to that? Councilwoman Brown?
Not really a question. I know there was a request for the contract, and just as policy, when we're in the middle of negotiating contracts, they're not made available to the public. But as soon as the contract is signed, it will be a public document and can be shared. So I just wanted people to understand that process. Thank you.
Does any other council person have a question, or are you comfortable moving this to the agenda? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Boxell?
All right, number 57, Department of Planning, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Mid-Hudson Pattern for Progress for planning analysis services for the Mount Vernon Comprehensive Plan, and that's on the agenda. And number 58, from the city clerk's office, a resolution of the city council of the city of Mount Vernon, New York, honoring the life and legacy of Lawrence Alonzo Ross. So, I just got this resolution is close to me just because I knew Alonzo personally, and he was a imposing figure. He's 6'4", but a real gentle giant, just a real soft-hearted person. And he passed away during COVID. He was a coach. He coached almost every sport for young people in Mount Vernon. Basketball, football, baseball was probably his number one. And it just, the amount of kids he's touched in the short time he was here with us, it's just a testament to his character. So I think it was necessary to honor him. And not only just this resolution, there's also going to be a plaque planted at Brush Park, right? With it, just honoring him. There's a tree already planted in his honor, so we're going to have a plaque memorializing that. So that was it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Do we know if Coach Ross's family will be coming on Wednesday? If not, if they can't come on Wednesday, we could always make arrangements for whether it be the 9th in September or the second meeting in September where they can have enough time to bring everybody. It's up to you, however you want it.
I mean, I know we have 58 items, but maybe we can do it first.
Yeah.
But they were invited.
Okay,
So
great.
and they said they would be
Perfect.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I would just like to invite the planning commissioner of just one more second, because I think what's really important about the comp plan is that there is a company that's going to be working for the city that is going to be collecting information that is really, really important to this comp plan. And I don't want the residents to be nervous about opening their door or where they would try and get any type of survey. We want some really creative ideas. So Commissioner Ross, would you mind speaking just for maybe a minute on it, please?
Sure. Part of the outreach plan with this phase of the comprehensive plan, we wanted to try to target certain groups that we were not able to successfully target in the first phase. Just showing seniors, the industrial community, Spanish-speaking community, and we're talking about now the youth and education. So the reason we have 2 outreach consultants is because the sub-consultant, Creative Urban Alchemy, is specialized in working with youth. And it's really, when doing comprehensive plans, it's, usually adults making decisions for like how they want to see the future of the youth without really involving them. And that's something we don't want to miss, because, we're really trying to make an effort to, prevent brain drain, to keep our youth here. And so we're going to be training. We're in the process of working with the Youth Bureau and Creative Urban Alchemy to come up with a training manual to train youth to go out and do canvassing and surveying. So they'll be visiting some homes, but primarily businesses, and just speaking with people on the street, just to ask basic questions, just to gather information. It's not only a good experience for the youth, but it targets certain populations who may not open their door, who may feel uncomfortable and filling out a survey or a form, and just feel more relaxed and at ease, just having a casual conversation about what they want to see for the future. So there's a dual purpose to this. And what is really great about it is that what Creative Urban Alchemy will leave us is a document that the Youth Bureau can use as a template to do future type of surveys and outreach. And so this is, we're not only getting a 10-year initiative with the comprehensive plan, we're getting something that's going to, last a decade or so to help educate, support, and empower our youth. So it's really exciting that to have them as a team member and to really literally pound the pavement to gather as much data as possible. And they'll also be at our events, and we're planning on both City Fest and Pumpkin Fest that they will be there, and everyone who's attending, that they'll be walking around with pads, asking questions as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We have just been notified that Comptroller Morton is on the line.
Yes, I'm not sure if he wants to speak. I sent. him a
Well,
chat.
you can ask him if he'd like to speak.
Yeah, just asked him, he said he would.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, he said he was going to.
Okay, Controller Morton?
Hello?
Okay. Get
Are
off
you
mute,
there?
Controller Morton.
Oh, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello?
The city
Yes, you can
cameras
hear
are
us,
muted.
Controller
You have
Morton.
to
There's a
unmute
delay
yourself.
because I have to unmute and then mute. So we most certainly can hear you. You can continue speaking.
Oh, okay. All right. So I heard that there was some concern or some questions about the RFP for the tax lien. So let me give you some background. So for the last 2.5 years, my office has sent out minimally 4 notices to everyone who is outstanding in their taxes. What we have provided to you all is basically this, again, preliminary listing. It is not a finalized list. That's why it has not become a public list of those that have not responded to us with all of our notices at all. In addition to also that we have the list of those who have requested a payment plan. So the information that I've provided to you that amounts to $54 million worth of outstanding taxes are for those who have not responded to any of our requests at all. The breakdown that I've also provided to you also shows what the amount is for 1 family, 2 family, 3 family, what is for commercial, what is for industrial, what's vacant lots, so that you would have a breakdown of each of those categories based upon property type. The RFP is designed for us as a city to decide what do we want, which of these properties do we want to go out for our tax lien sale? And it's for us to decide because again, as you know, previously this year, you all have adopted a change in the payment plan, which will help some of those residential properties to be able to decide that they may wish to take the option of a payment plan. And some of that number of the 1, 2, 3 families may come down. But as it pertains to the commercials, the industrial, the vacant lots, those other categories, those would be subject to a payment plan that may not be quite as realistic, and 2, they have not responded. So I think that what we have to do is at least put the RFP out for whatever categories of properties that we decide that we wish to actually move forward with a tax lien sale on. And again, the RFP is designed to allow us to have the opportunity to decide up until the very end before we actually go to contract with whoever it is that we actually award the RFP to be able to make the adjustments up until that moment. In addition to that, the RFP also has an option for the company or the vendor to also agree to be a collector, help us with the collection of it, because we don't have the bandwidth to really go after this kind of volume. There's some other things too that are leaning us. The city has never really done this. And the reason why, unfortunately, we are here is because there has been that change in the federal law by the Supreme Court and the changes to the real estate property tax law that no longer allows the city to be able to benefit at all from any of the surplus. So if we are to sell, and if we are to, first of all, go into foreclosure, it would take approximately about 2 years for us to finally get to that place. And then 2, once we did that, we then would now have to manage a bunch of escrow accounts for those to give people owners who have lost their properties to us for tax arrears, for them to now have to be able to get any of the surplus back. So the benefit of in-rem foreclosures is not as efficient nor beneficial to the city as it has been in the past. And so unfortunately, we have to look at this kind of provision. However, the RFP as designed is for us to keep control so we can better manage and minimize any, the fallout of a gentrification to the masses based upon this volume. The city has never been in this situation where we got $54 million worth of taxes and interest that right now is outstanding. Let's keep in mind that the school district right now has us collecting for school taxes for 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2022, 2023. The 2020, 2021, and the 2020, 2022 will become due May of 2025. The 2022, 2023 will become due February of 2026. And at the rate in which right now, unfortunately, our property owners are paying the taxes, the city will never have the cash flow to be able to pay those debts if we do not consider this kind of option for some of our properties. So again, it was put out to you for you to approve to go out for RFP and for us to sit down and decide what was going to be included in those properties that would be a part of this RFP.
Thank you, Comptroller Morton. That information was very helpful. And I do remember all the work that was put into that, so glad we're all on the same page. And with that being said, we appreciate you being here tonight and taking the time off to come and speak to us about that. With that being said, just would like to let you guys know that August 14th at 7 p.m. we have our public meeting, but we had a lot of really great things that happened this week. Rye Benjamin from Mount Vernon High School got a gold medal, 2 gold medals. That was really exciting. So not only do we have entertainers and singers and athletes coming out of Mount Vernon, this is a really, really great, and I hope that we can look into honoring him in some way, whether it be with a parade, naming something after him. Does anybody else have anything to add? Tomorrow night?
Yes, tomorrow night, National Night Out. It's gonna be at Hartley Park from 5 to 8 p.m. Please come out. Bring the kids.
Derek Thompson, Councilman.
And also, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who contributed and helped out with Mount Vernon Proud Day. Maroon and Gold, it was awesome on Saturday. We had a great time. Action-packed event for family and friends. So, you know, our wonderful council president is supporting the T-shirt we had. It was very, very nice. Yes, so you know, it's the second Saturday. That's right. And if you still want to get one of those shirts, they are $25. You can go to DigiPrint on First Street in between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. And you know, we're having it every year. Is it second? Yes, between second and first? No, 2nd and 3rd. 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And it's every year. So, you know, continue to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Council President. I'd just like the community to know that September 28th and October 5th will be voter registration day on site. If you are not registered to vote, you must come to City Hall between the hours of 12 noon and 9 p.m. on September 28th and October 5th. And I'll continue to remind everyone at all the meetings leading up to the dates. We'll also have this published in our newspaper, in our newsletter, and on all social media websites as well.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything to say? Okay, go ahead, Councilman Thompson.
I'm sure we'll meet again before then, but our City Fest date is Saturday, September 14th. But right before then, on Thursdays, September 12th, there will be a Recreation City Fest fundraiser. So stay tuned for that information, you know, so we can continue to do great things in Mount Vernon.
Any other comments? Okay, good night, Mount Vernon. Please support local business. We greatly appreciate it. And that's it. Have a good night.